of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. He's from the city, she's from the south. Two different chapters told miles out. The back row living in his White House. So many stories that I need to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. So many stories right in front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open. front of me. Some people climb to heights I've never seen. Too many falling down off their feet. These stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Why you're the way you are. Tiptoe around with face of a stranger. Quiet observer, never get too close. I see the world, but it's through this window. Another side to see, I'm ready to know. Not every story's written on a sleeve. Some stories take digging deep. Eyes wide open, words unspoken. Where are you going, darling? Where have you been? Stories to tell, emotions we felt, good and the bad in the hands we've been dealt. I wanna know why, I wanna know why you're the way you are.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Silver Sunday on this August 22nd of 2021, the year of our Lord. Man, can you believe it's August 22nd already?
The year is flying by so quick.
I am telling you. Just before I get too deep, just for the record, some producer this evening is having a birthday this week, and he is going to turn a big 2-1, y'all.
Whoa!
Right?
He's getting up to drinking age now.
Yeah,
He's not
so
going to be caught going into the strip clubs anymore. How about that?
so
No, he still looks like a little kid to me.
yeah, well, once he shaves, when he lets all that spotted, looks like a spotted owl with it all grown out, right?
I don't think I've seen him lately.
He's now threatening me with killing the stream, so I better be nice to him.
Be kind. Be kind.
He does have the power.
He does, like He-Man, right? So welcome everyone to our Silver Sunday. Business first. Let's big shout out to our sponsor, Daytona Beach Comic Con, which is coming up in right at a month now. I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I think it's right at a month. September 8th.
Yeah, it's less than that, right? Yeah.
So are you saying 3 weeks in?
Yeah.
So 3 weeks. So I need to light a fire under my printer because they have all kind of stuff to be printing. So September 18th and 19th, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you have not made your plans to go, make them now. It's a fun comic con. It's about comics, and that's one of the reasons that it's such a fun show. We want to extend our condolences to Carlos, who normally produces tonight, our Sunday and our Wednesdays, on the loss of his dad. So we send our prayers and thoughts out to Carlos and his family, and we wish them well in this trying time. Thank you to Brett for stepping in at the last minute and producing for us tonight. So yeah, there's that. So I'll just go ahead and shout out to Carlos though in his New Armor Media. One of the things that they can do if you want to be on a stream, if you want to If you want to stream, but you're just like, man, I don't know what buttons to push and what knobs to turn and what whistles to blow and all that kind of stuff, reach out to them and reach out to Carlos and New Armor Media, and they'll take care of you. They'll get you online and they will get you streaming. They know how to do that. I don't really have Kickstarter updates other than all the files have been sent to Kablam, and I just saw that I got an invoice waiting on me, so I need to get that paid. So it will be waiting on them in the morning. So we should be in pretty good shape to get that out. Should be. I don't foresee any problems. It was all pretty. This one was pretty straightforward. Commissions might be a little bit later than the. We might not get the commissions for the Daytona Beach Comic Con, but we'll do our best and certainly get the rest of them out. We do know what we'll be kickstarting next here in a couple of weeks, and that will be we're going to wrap Kahless up. So we're going to be kickstarting Kahless 3 and 4 together in an oversized finale, as well as White Devil #1. White Devil #1 by R.A. Jones and penciled by Jackson Rennick. Oh, Jackson, hope you weren't on when I made that mistake. Chuck Bordell inked a lot of it, but I don't think he inked most of this first issue. I think it was inked by Mike Keeney, and it is colored by Phil Leon. So that's going to be what the next Kickstarter is. Haven't solidified the date yet because I got to get a thumbs up from Kickstarter, and I don't have that yet. So we'll get more on that soon, though. And I guess that's it for the business. You guys got anything as far as business? So we're
I'm working on my commissions.
Cool. We're gonna see a little bit of that streaming tonight.
Oh no! What? No, that's gonna be on paper, right? So I got to do that. Yeah. No, I'm gonna do some digital. I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna work on rejects tonight.
Tonight. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's. So I forgot introductions. I always have a tendency. We just start kind of chatting like we're family, you know. So I'm Roland. I am tonight's host. Writer of Cat and Mouse, Trumps, and the Kickstarter we just did, which includes Bear and Silverline Team Up, which we think you guys are really going to like. So I'm going to go the opposite direction because Tommy, tell people who you are.
My name is Thomas Floramonte Jr. I've been doing comics since the early 90s. Worked for pretty much everybody at some point or another, done a bunch of Marvel stuff, a bunch of Malibu Ultraverse stuff, a lot of independent books for a bunch of different people. Worked with Roland on some earlier Silverline books, and including some Cat and Mouse stuff, some of the earlier Cat and Mouse, and then some of the I inked issues 2, 3, and 4. I don't think I inked the first one, right, of Demon Tales, right? So I did 2, 3, and 4.
Right,
maybe 1. I don't remember, but
I know. I know you. I know you finished it out. I can't remember if you did any for issue. I'd have to pick it up and look at it.
Yeah. I'm saying I did the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we're for the new Silverline 3.0, because we had a 2.0, so this is 3.0, right?
Yep.
Where I'm inking, working on the Trumps book. I inked issues 1 and 2. I'm not inking 3, but I am inking 4 with Mr. Pete. Pete's penciling. Going to be getting onto that pretty quick here. I'm also did the Kickstarter thing that Roland was talking about that we should Kablam should start printing here in the next week or so. Definitely before the show that we talked about going to. We'll have it all for the show, and but hopefully I'll get to working on that this week. So the Silverline Team Up book, and then like I'm also inking Rejects over Steve Michael Lanning. He's going to be hopefully joining us here in a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm also working with Dean Zachary on his book, the Silverblade book, and then a bunch of other stuff. I have my own. Hey, look at the little kid. Who was that? Roberto, who was that? That was so cute. Yeah, no,
She can't hear you now. She took her earbuds out.
she sure did. But I'm doing just a bunch of different stuff, and I got my own books, my Kid Hero books. Hello, how you doing?
What's up?
Hello, Strange Child.
Okay, Shy.
Hi.
Escorting her out of the room. That's pretty funny. But I'm also the co-owner of Kablam Digital Printing and my own Inferno Studio stuff. So I could keep going on and on and on, but I'll stop
Very
now.
cool. And
Yeah.
and you will be streaming some art tonight, right? You'll be
Yes,
inking
I'm going to be
rejects.
working on some of the reject stuff. Yep, working
So-
on those books. I've been banging them out pretty quick here the past couple of weeks. I've done 4, 5, 6 pages or whatever. So
I'm
we'll get
excited
that.
to announce about this one is that we have added Haley Martin to the team.
Yes.
To the rejects team. We talked I guess it was last week or week before last, or we kind of confirmed it. And Haley, who is the artist for Bear, is going to be coloring rejects. So
Yeah, she's going to do a great job. It fits her style.
It does.
It's more of a cartoonier kind of look, so it's going to look great. It'll look great.
Yeah, excited about that. All right, so next up is Roberta. Roberta,
I'm back.
can you tell people who you are?
I know all your names, but he was shy.
Who was that? Who was that popped in?
God, my friend's son.
Oh.
He watches our streams and he watches like the comic book creating process, and he's always involved in watching it.
Does he help you? Does he help you color the book? Is he the one?
I think
Is
he's
he
got a
really
little shy.
picking it out? He's the one that's really
He
picking out
likes
all the
that.
colors, the palette. He's doing a great
Oh
job.
yeah. No, he's not picking them up. He did pick out one color.
Oh, cool.
Which was remember the airport scene in Miss Fury. Remember that piece?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the guy, the friend, is walking down, and he's purple shirt. He's sitting on a purple
Is this why you sent me a revised file?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I had picked that color before I had picked the colors for the backgrounds and for the action and all that. And once I got the mood board kind of solidified, I realized that a yellow shirt would not be helpful when I wanted to have one page that was kind of yellow theme. So I changed his shirt so that he would stand out right against all of the different things that happen in him.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know I had the page, and then you sent me the message. Hey, I changed the color of her shirt, so here's the new file. And I'm like, a color of a shirt? Okay.
Do we really have to make a change for a shirt?
Yeah, that's all right. It's all good.
Yeah.
I was telling Pete before we went. I was telling Pete before we went live that I went over the book again, and I was like, man, it's such a good looking book. But I went in and I made a couple extra, like 3 or 4 changes, just small changes before submitting it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. So, okay, Pete.
Well, that will happen sometimes if I don't have the whole book done.
Yes.
Well, China.
So,
that's why sometimes I like to hang back on giving you stuff.
Yes.
And
that's fine. So, yeah. So I'm still gonna wait for make Pete go last here.
Okay, good.
Because we've got to talk about something. So, C. Michael, you're muted. I don't know if you can hear us or not. I see the little squares dancing around each other, so he's trying to get joined. Brett, get Tommy's art up on the stream, please. Oh shoot, C. Michael still there. He is. Well, he disappeared.
We appreciate you joining.
It's like, okay, I'm here. See y'all later.
Bye.
I made my drive by. So he's coming. All right, so there he is. You're muted.
Hey, C. Michael.
We can't hear you. You're muted. The little mute sign comes up. Try it again. Talk.
He loves Discord just as much as me, apparently.
You know, I really like Discord. I was.
It's
you know,
just me. I just keep having so much problems with it. I don't know what the deal is. You would think I would.
Join.
Well, see, Michael's having problems. So,
Sweet.
so see, just move your mouth, and Tommy will introduce you. All right, Tommy, go ahead.
Let me get off the screen. Hello, my name is C. Michael Lanny. I'm drawing the Rejects book. And the great Thomas Flormonti is inking it, and he's doing such a fabulous job. Oh, yeah. Is he really? Yes, he's doing such a great. Yeah, I think, and I'm going to donate all the money that I make to Thomas for making it. Are you really? Wow, fabulous! Yes, because you're such a great guy, Thomas.
We caught it all on the stream.
Yeah, I didn't say anything.
All right, so while C tries to get his sound worked out, we're gonna go. We'll go on to Pete. Pete, tell people who you are, and talk about that lovely dressing. What'd you call it? Dressing gown?
Dressing gown. Yes, I shall.
Dressing gown that you have on.
Yes, I shall. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm the penciler on Silverline Team Up, Champion of Miss Fury, and Trump's issue 4. That's it. I don't have many other. I can't do many other things at once. I just draw. As to the dressing gown, this is my Thanos Infinity Power with Infinity Gauntlet dressing gown.
Yeah, the sleeves are cool. Look at those sleeves.
That is so neat.
You wouldn't understand.
Hey, see, Michael, we heard you.
Hey, you heard me?
We heard you said somebody didn't understand.
We
I don't
heard
know.
that we didn't understand. Oh, and he went away again.
See, so am I not supposed to see myself? What's the heck? I'm just looking at a big screen of myself. What is the
Now we
deal with
see
this?
you. We see
We
you
may
over
have
here.
to hit we may have to hit the bleep button as soon as I see Michael getting upset about something.
So
God.
on the left
There we
hand
go.
side, can you not see anybody now?
Okay, I don't see Tommy. Tommy's just a couple of
Little
I see
squares,
now.
squares.
I
circling
see
around?
Pete. I see Roberta. I see you.
Okay. Yeah. So little squares circling around. It's just an internet thing. Just means that there's some lag going on.
I'm
So
gonna
don't
tell
worry
you,
about that.
I disown. No, I'm taking it back. Flormonti does not get any money from me.
Oh no!
Yeah, you try to be sneaky.
Okay, I'm moving on to the next book then.
Yeah. So there you go. C, tell people who you are.
Hey, I'm C. Michael Lanning, independent artist. I'm done work with Arrow, and of course on Silverline, the upcoming Rejects book, which I'm real excited about. And who knows, some other stuff that might fall out the sky sometime. So look out.
And Wubba says, "Hola, fellow Silverliners. What's up, Wubba? We are anxious to get you back on the streams with us, sir. I know you're busy, know you got reasons, but we're anxious to get you back on, man." All right, so before we jump into our topic, anybody got anything else? Just see. I mean, Pete's gown is just so it has me in such awe. It's just I
got a question for Pete.
Please don't
get one off the Amazon.
off the Amazon. Please don't snap, Pete. Please don't.
All right.
Where did you get it? Where did you get your pajamas? Except for you don't call it pajamas.
The dressing gown. We have pajamas. Dressing gown and pajamas are two different things.
So you would wear your dressing gown over your pajamas, right?
Yes.
Oh.
It's like a robe. We would call it a robe.
A robe?
Yeah, we would call it a robe.
Haven't you ever seen A Christmas Carol?
There's no robe that's got a hoodie. Wait a minute. What robes? Well, maybe it could be.
I'm not going to stand up, but it goes. It ties up.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Sit back down, Pete. People can see you. You're not wearing any pants.
It's just a robe.
Yeah.
It's just a robe.
It's my Thanos. I mean,
So was this?
I don't want to say too much, but I have Thanos slippers as well.
Uh-oh.
I'm
So
not wearing
was
them
this,
right this second.
was this like a Christmas present for you or something?
Yes, it was,
That's
yeah.
what you get that at the Disney store now, right? I mean,
That's
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's official merchandise. It's
Yeah.
it's Disney Merc.
That doesn't strike me as something that you would set out to buy. Like, I'm going to go buy a Thanos dressing gown tonight. So it
was
strikes
bought
me as a
for
Christmas present.
that
It was a
means you're
gift.
not
It was a gift, and I wanted it. And then I found out. Then I found out my girlfriend had bought the same dressing gown for my dad, and she'd also bought him the slippers. So I got a bit upset. I said, "Well, I want the slippers as well." So we both
That's
had
awesome.
matching slippers and
So do you have a glove?
yeah, well, we don't. I'm desperately after trying to get the Hasbro gauntlet.
Is that big
Um,
one?
Yeah,
Jeff Whiting has one of those.
yeah. I need one of those in my life. I would literally wear it everywhere. Or just walk into coffee shops with my gauntlet.
Give me coffee, or I'll snap my
Give me a
fingers.
coffee, I'll snap you away.
You're just walking around with your fingers ready.
Order up, Thanos.
Just ready to go.
The coffee. I need a coffee stone.
Coffee. It's just coffee beans in different colors.
Yeah. Jackson Rennick says, robes with a hoodie? Ask a Jedi.
Oh, he's right. All right, I'm wrong. I could.
Yeah.
Tommy, you ought to have known that.
I should have.
John Medic were here.
Yeah.
Oh,
He would've used that for sure.
don't tempt him.
He would blow it up. He knows how to connect to the thing.
We'll get a PowerPoint if that happens, right? Yeah, Jax, we mentioned you a little bit earlier, man. We mentioned you and White Devil, so you might have missed that if you're just tuning in. So, all right, guys, tonight we're going to talk about. Wait, what was it? I changed the topic last minute. We're going to talk about.
Can I share?
Yeah, well, I thought Tommy was Tommy's sharing right now. Can you not
Is
see
he?
Tommy's?
You can't see nothing.
I can't
Tommy.
see Tommy sharing.
So
Where is he
if-
sharing?
so if
Oh, you have to watch the stream. You have to
Yeah,
watch the stream.
click on watch stream, and he'll
Oh.
come up. Yeah.
I'm sharing.
So hold on. The cool thing though is that you could also share, and then we'd see it in the little box on the side. And then what Brett could do is it would be actually just click on the different windows on the side to feature the art, right? So you could theoretically
I
do
have
that.
a free box, by the way. I can't see it.
Really?
It's
You-
Thomas's art. And it's gray, and I can't.
No. The other one that says watch stream.
I had to expand the window to find that. All right.
Yeah.
Just more.
He's just erasing
the
lines
window.
right now.
Yeah, I know, because I was cheating. Y'all are watching that? Y'all
Yeah.
They say it'd be cheat. Yeah.
I always try to I enjoy watching it. So, all right. So tonight we're going to talk about comic formats, and kind of what we're looking at here. We're talking about there's the floppies, like the magazines, the monthlies, called different things, and you've got in the industry, you've got things called trade paperbacks, and you've got collections and compilations and graphic novels, and then you even have webtoons, and you have digital versions. So I guess maybe first question, because I got to come up with these at the last minute here. First question might be: do you think one format is superior to another? Is there one format that you go, yeah, this is just a superior format?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's why I'm wearing the green shirt.
You would think that I would like digital comics since I'm just a computer kind of person and stuff, but I still like them printed. And it's not because I have a printing company or anything like that, and I need to keep that business going. Of course I do. But it's the Kablam is mostly for people getting things for we really sell a lot of stuff to people to go on to shows and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that keeps the conventions. That's the main marketplace for that and
Well,
Kickstarter.
I mean, it's print on demand, right? I mean, it's the kind of thing where and I know, Tommy, I know you've heard me say this, but when folks talk to me about printing, is that when I think of the digital printing, when I first saw what you guys were doing, then when I first moved down here 10 years ago, I'm like, holy crap, this really does change the game for small press publishers, right? Because part of the thing I had a problem with in the 90s was, I had a minimum print run of 3,000 copies. So it didn't matter. I could sell 2,999 or I could sell 299. I
Or
still had
just 99.
or just 99. Yeah. Fortunately, I never sold just 99. But you had to go to print with 3,000 copies, and that's so when I first started Silverline 2.0, right, the orders I was getting were coming in around 1,800, right, 1900, right. But by the time for the last issue that I solicited through Diamond before I called it quits, I got orders for 600 copies.
Yeah.
Now, I still had to print 3,000 books, right? Because that was the minimum print run. Had Kablam been around in those days, I could have gone to press with 600 books, and not have to worry about the 2,000 extra books that I had,
And have a garage full of books that are just rotting.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I ended up chunking so many of those. Some of them went into a bonfire. Some of them went into the garbage pickup.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I think I probably had Brett carry them out to the street. I probably said, "Hey, Brett, carry these out to the street." All right. So somebody else. What do you think? Superior. Oh, we lost C again, huh?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can see you, Pete.
It keeps dropping out for some bizarre reason. It keeps kicking me off.
Huh. I can hear you, but I don't see you.
No, I can't see me either.
And we've lost C as well. So yeah.
I was talking, and then I realised I'd been cut off. And I was like, "Oh, joined you having a conversation." I was like, "I won't butt in."
All right, so start all over
then. I was saying I like floppy. I because I'm having a conversation of my own. I figured out I don't actually know why, but I like monthly comic books. That's what I prefer. Right, I prefer the monthly floppies. But if you've been listening to my one-man conversation, you would have heard me say, "I don't know why that is." Can someone help me out? I like going to the comic shop every week or every month. I like going in there and I like picking up a continuation of the story.
That's what I'm going to guess it is, because for me, that's one of the things that I like, right? And having seen a couple of my stories down, that I like cliffhangers, right? And to me, that's part of the episodic nature of the monthlies, right? You go and you get your floppy. And for those who might not know what a floppy is, what we're talking about just the monthly comic that you go in, just the regular comic. Roberta's got cats running in front of her, kids running behind her.
It's busy.
I just saw this tail go right in front of her face.
It's gonna be one of those shows. I'm telling you now.
Yep. But yeah, so I think that floppies. I was talking about floppies. And I think part of the reason people started calling them floppies is because if you pick them up, they are kind of, if you shake them, they are a little bit floppy. I have one around here somewhere. They are kind of floppy compared to they kind of flop around a little bit, right? Compared to like a graphic novel or a soft cover or even a hardcover. But yeah, I would say, Pete, if you said someone help you out, if I were to guess, I'm gonna say it's the episodic nature of it that that draws you. I mean, that's part of what draws me is the episodic aspect of it. Is I like to to be reading and come up on this cliffhanger that makes me say, oh crap, I need the next issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could still do that digitally. It doesn't if it still takes the same amount of time. I just like the book in my
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
I just like to have the book in my hand.
Well, so I guess maybe that would be a question for you, and Tommy, I know you've probably been hearing this for a long time, being so immersed in the industry as you are. But for I've been hearing for probably 20 years now that digital was going to replace print completely. What do you guys think?
Nah.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be just some a version of both. I mean, it's like it's kind of like the watching your movies at home or watching them at the movie theater. Well, I mean, right? I know the plague here has made it so we've had to we can more of an option to watch movies at home, and like
So-
with your Disney Plus and your
I've been a teacher way too long because it looks like C. Michael has his hand up.
oh,
You do have your hand up.
go ahead, Mr. Michael, Mr. C. I was just waiting for you to say something so I could shut up. Go for
Jump in, sir. Oh, now he's frozen.
it.
Yeah, what he doesn't tell you, he's got his kids on a bicycle in the other room, and they're
Power.
they're peddling the internet to him, right? So we lost him again. Go ahead, Tommy.
No, I was just saying that it's kind of like the movies. You can watch them at home. You can watch them at the movie theater. I know it's not the same as a digital book or a print, but they're just all your different options that you have. I like looking at comics on my iPad and on the computer screen and stuff, but I still want the printed
To hold
version
them.
of this. Yeah, because I mean, we can be honest. Printing is still printing. I mean, as
Yeah.
beautiful as our presses are, and all of the real press, the real traditional presses, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there's nothing like a backlit screen that make those colors just pop and glow, and they're just beautiful
Yeah.
when you're looking, especially on these super duper high res iPads or your your really your nice monitors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I still like to have a book, to hold the book. It's a collectible thing, I guess, because to me it's still, even though I know we've had our streams in the past where we talked about those. What was it called? What was the term for the digital collectible things?
Oh, the
What was it called?
NFTs.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's a
NFTs.
thing, and people are still going crazy for that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
just a digital version of something, it's always like, yeah, that might be true, but I can, if maybe I can't come up with a way to copy this stuff, but I know some little 12-year-old that's way smarter than me is going to figure out how to break a copyright thing, yeah, and then copy the stuff. So.
Well, so
That's why I like the printed version. It's like, this is an actual something.
yeah.
So
As soon as we can hear C, we're gonna let him talk because
Okay.
He's being so
we don't
patient.
we don't want to lose him again. C, can you hear us now?
Say from a graphics perspective, one of the harder things for me to do with the digital is get a screen big enough to take it all in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the overall impact of turning the page, and I can't get that in
No,
digital.
yeah.
Yeah. You mean turning the page when you're working on it?
Well, as a colorist, I look at it as your first reaction when you see a page. Where do your eyes
Gotcha.
go?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. And movement is kind of gone when it's tiny like that, because
Well-
you ignore a lot on the page, and you can zoom in one at a
Mhm.
time and move around on it, but it's a different thing than seeing it
Yeah.
and taking it all in that split second of turning the page. So
Yeah.
kind of missed that.
Yeah, and I might argue, and I know the Kubert School teaches this, but you've got that Z pattern that the artwork and the letters both are supposed to enhance to the reader to pull them through. My problem with something like Comixology's directed reading is you lose that. You don't get, because a page is a composition in and of itself, right? As you just mentioned, the entire page, right? Yeah, and so when you're only looking at a panel at a time as a reader, you miss some of that. I think you don't get to take in the whole thing. There's C. Michael. C. Michael, can you hear us? You're muted. You're muted again. You know what? I couldn't hear you, but I think I can read your lips.
Did he say something bad?
He's
not happy.
It wasn't a very happy. So one time I saw come up on your screen, I saw the little headset thing come up, and I had never seen that before. Yeah, I still don't hear you. I see your mouth moving, but I still don't hear you. And I think last time Tommy putting words in your mouth was probably not a good idea.
Okay. I didn't do that.
So what we're gonna let him jump in if we can get sound on. So while he's trying to fix the sound, a couple more notes here on YouTube here. Jackson says, "Yeah, I just got here, missed it, man. Sorry, you have to go listen to the first few minutes of the replay. We talk about you." Stephen Brown says, "Hey, what's up, Stephen? How's it going?" And then he says, "How's it going?" And then he said, "That's the symbol I saw. Or I'd never seen that one before." See. Stephen Brown says, "I doubt print would leave ever or anytime soon. Digital is nice, but nothing beats the physical copy."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hate. I have to on Kickstarter. I usually have to get stuff just a PDF download only because shipping to the UK.
Because of shipping. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah, we can hear you.
And I usually don't end up reading the stuff because I don't want to read anything on a screen.
I have the same problem. Yeah.
I really it doesn't. The idea of me, I want to read a comic book. Let me go and get my laptop and open me up and look at my laptop.
Yeah. Or I can't imagine trying to read on one of these things, right?
Yeah.
All right, C, jump in there, man.
Okay, well, can you hear me? Because last time I started talking, everybody froze and everything went dead.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm afraid I might be cursed. No, but what I'm saying, okay, I have a 16-year-old daughter who would rather read print than read digitally.
Oh, cool.
Okay, and the reason why is because what happens is when you have a comic book, and especially you old-time collectors, you know this. The smell, the feel, and everything also plays into how you experience the story. And with the screen, you're not really getting. Yeah, you might have a feel, but it's not the same type of feel. Same type of feel I get playing Angry Birds. It's not the same thing, And then there's a thing, because I know if you saw that, I think you and I talked about that Substack. All these people go into that Patreon type, and it's like, oh, we're gonna have variant covers and stuff. I don't care. The only thing that was important as far as the variant covers was for collectability.
Right.
That was the whole part. That's one of the main things about comic books, especially in the early '90s. And you can say that helped kill some of the market, which I'm not going to debate that with you. But the spectator market,
sure,
the spectator market came in. All you had image 1. Everything was number one, so everybody was buying it up. You're not going to do that digitally.
No.
I don't care what NFT or whatever this other thing that's coming up is going to do. It's not going to replace being able to hold something. Consider Amazon. Amazon just had I don't know if it was I think it was a lawsuit brought against them because they wiped somebody's downloads and digital movies off.
What?
Yeah, and she said, "Well, hey, I bought all that and everything. You're basically ripping me off." And Amazon said, "No. You bought the rights to watch it. You don't own it. All those $19.99 movies that you pay for digitally, which I still don't understand if you're not having it on tape or a CD, whatever. Right. You don't own that.
Right.
But what's it going to take for Comixology to say, "Oh, these are no longer available," and yank it?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
imagine the amount of money that you have to spend on space for this stuff. Now Tommy's probably going to tell me, you don't need that much space for all of it. But if you're a big time collector, it's going to get. If you're really into comics, that's going to be a pretty hefty thing to get another hard drive. So Roland froze. Is that me or
No. I'm just.
Oh,
I'm
you didn't freeze. Okay.
No. Yeah. I was my mouth was open because I was trying to formulate a response. Because I don't disagree with you. And I think that's part, in talking about the digital plus the variant covers. I mean that the variant covers, that's a whole. We could probably discuss that for an entire. And we might actually do that the second half of our stream tonight. But like you said, that's part of it. Is that fans they're going to buy a variant cover because it's different. That's a variant, right? And I know Marvel and DC. To what extent I don't know exactly, but I know and even maybe some of the top indie companies like Boom and IDW and Image. I'm not sure, but I know there's some deals out there. It's like, hey, you order 100 copies of this book, and you get variant A. You order 500 copies, and you get variant B. So if you order 500 copies of the main cover, you get 5 variant A's and 1 variant B. And there's a lot of retailers out there that are doing that just for that cover.
That Valiant thing. The Valiant thing that I colored for the.
Oh, he's here. Just can't see him.
Yeah, that was exactly what you're talking about. They had to buy X amount of copies, and they got their own cover on the that Ninjak book that I got to color. So that's how that came about. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's just I mean, so I tend to agree is that you can't really do that digitally, I mean, and even though you can tell, you can run your Kickstarters and whatever, you can get this stuff on the digital platforms, and while I suspect the overwhelming majority of the consumers there is not the problem, it's the wild, the wild horses are going to say, ha ha ha, I'm going to copy this and give to all my friends, right? Yeah. So there's always going to be that issue. Michael Emke says, hello all. What's up, Michael? Man, I didn't get to see you again at MegaCon, but it was so cool to finally get to meet you. For those of you who don't know, Michael is I don't know if it's his. I think it's his. I always reach out to him. Runs the podcast We Be Geeks, and we've been on that before. And he gave. So I want you guys to note this. He gave me an open invitation. He said, "Hey, next time you're doing something, holler at me." So, yep, we're gonna do it, right? So yeah, it was good to meet you. I can't remember. Did we get a picture? I am terrible with me taking pictures, and my kids remind me of this all the time. I'll say, "Hey, I talked to this person." I'll say, "Oh, cool. Did you get a picture?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't get a picture." So they're like, "You got to get better at that, Dad." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I get wrapped up." And so I can't remember, Mr. MP, if we did that or not. If we did, please. Yeah, so we did get a pic. Okay. So, oh, wait a minute. I think I've already seen that one. Good. Yes, I remember it now. So yeah, I tried, but we got it because he did it. I wouldn't have thought about it at the time. I would have thought about it after he walked away. Okay, so I ran out of steam there. Someone else pick up the ball. What do you think, Pete?
Okay, who was picking it up?
You jumped in. I was picking somebody, so you jumped in. So go.
Oh, well, and just like that. Wait a minute. Okay.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Like I said, it's just like that. We're gonna go to all these digital platforms, and that's gonna be everybody's running. If you honestly, what it looks like, as far as all these big time artists running to these digital platforms, I'm going to say this, and forgive me if it gets me canceled. It looks like rats trying to escape a sinking ship. And
yeah,
I
it
don't,
is kind of.
and it's just. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it is kind of interesting to kind of see what's happening at Marvel and DC with all this, isn't it?
But look, I mean, it's not just, of course, and I know this is kind of off subject, but look at what's his name? Brian Michael Bendis. He's taking his stuff away from DC and giving it to Dark Horse. So that kind of makes you wonder. But I don't think that they're wise. I think they think that they're going to be able, like, insert artist here or insert writer here, that they're going to be able to charge a person $8 a month for their specific service. And unless as far as I could tell, maybe somebody out there can let me know, $8 a month is per artist, is part per person, not per not for the service. That's not going to work out at all for them. They think that they're going to corner the digital market. It's like an actor or an actress trying to come in on YouTube and make a YouTube channel. Very rarely does that ever work out.
Yeah.
Very rare. So
yeah.
I think digital market is going to get over flooded with people trying to get something, and we'll start seeing. I think honestly that the print will come back into style, really.
Yeah. So, do you think they're trying to do something like a Netflix for comics?
Is this the thing that DC is trying to do? Is this what we're talking about?
But that is that is already out there. Because you have your Marvel Unlimited, you got your DC Universe, you got. But here's the problem with that. It's like I said. Okay, I'm going to pay $8 to read all Marvel books. Am I going to pay $8 to read all DC books? Or am I going to pay $8 to read independent books on Comixology? What's it going to be? Because otherwise, I'm spending $24 on something I can't hold.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I've had these services and I forget about them.
Right.
Really.
I had Marvel. You know what's funny? I had Marvel Unlimited for 2 years. My intent was, and this is a few years ago. My intent was, you know what? It's been a decade since I've read Marvel or DC really. So you get the Marvel Unlimited and try it out here. And so I got it for Christmas 1 year, and I don't know. I tried to read some new book that people were talking about at the time, and I read the first issue, and I'm like, well, that wasn't very good. I didn't enjoy that. And then, but what happened? What caught my attention was an old Defenders issue, and I'm like, ooh, Gerber wrote that one, right? And so I'm like, okay, let me go read it. And so then I found myself, the only thing I'm reading on this is all the old stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is I'm reading stuff that I got, I'm reading stuff that's in these boxes, I'm like, why am I rereading all these Avengers? I've got them in boxes, it's like, why am I reading it? Why aren't I reading something new? And I think part of the problem for me was every time I tried to read something new, it just didn't, it didn't call out to me. It didn't seem to have,
it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, kind of disappointing. It didn't have kind of what Pete was talking about earlier. It didn't have that real episodic feel to me. And, and I absolutely know, because people tell me, I hear from time to time, oh, this book is really good, you should read it, And I realize that there's stuff out there that I'm probably missing, but the part of the problem with that is that, I don't know how many they do now, but at one point in time, Marvel got up to doing 120 books a month. 120 books a month. Now I'm gonna pull out my calculator here because I can't do that kind of math.
Now DC's only doing that in Batman books, so
right, yeah. I do think they've cut them down somewhat, but let's just say 100 books, right? Oh, and that's pretty easy math. I could do that probably. And they're all $4, right? Times $4. That's $400 a month if you're just going to get all of the Marvel books. So that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Phil Leon says, "Hey, everybody, what's up, Phil? We mentioned you a little bit earlier too, man. I bet you missed it too." Yeah. So I don't know. So all right. So let's kind of talk about and we ought to have Barry on here to talk about this. Let's talk a little bit about kind of like the webtoons and free comics to print kind of thing. So my longtime friend and Tommy's friend and partner, Barry Gregory, he does comics that he gives away for free digitally. They're just, if you want to go read them, you just go read them digitally, but he also sells them. Now, I don't know his sales. I've never asked him. That's kind of, personal business, but I've been with him at shows and he sells books. So what do you guys think about that kind of idea? I mean, obviously we don't do that, but it's like, what do you guys think about that? I mean, is that a formula for success to give, because what, Pete? All right, so Pete, you got a book on webtoons, right?
Yeah.
And that's free. Do you have a print version of that as well?
You're not allowed.
What's that?
If you want to print it, you have to get Webtoons permission.
What?
What? Wait,
That's how I understand it anyway. Technically, they can say no, you can't print that. That's Webtoons, so they could stop you from doing a print. You have to get permission first. I understand.
Really?
Not that I plan on making a print or I'm continuing that story on Webtoons, but yeah, I think you've got to get permission from them.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I might be wrong.
Wow.
Someone correct me on that.
Yeah. Interesting.
Will they own it?
But the only
To
reason
some degree.
I did that is because I just wanted to get some stuff out there, so I could say, look, I've got some stuff to go and have a look at. I don't agree with giving stuff away free. What's the point of that?
Yeah.
No, this is my job. This is what I want to do as a career. I don't see that me being able to do that if you're just taking my stuff for nothing.
Yeah. When you
so
start
no,
off as
I
a
work
dentist,
with it, you can pay for it.
you don't dental for free, do you?
Exactly. No one else gives. I don't get this. I don't get this. Is all. I think it all comes from this piracy thing. People now think they should have stuff for free.
Yeah.
No, pay for your stuff. You want something, go buy it.
Yeah.
That's the way the world works.
It
you
is.
want to read my comics, go buy it. Don't nick it.
Nick it. I like that.
I take a really hard line on this because I don't make so much money where I can say, oh, you know what, don't worry about it.
Right.
So
Right.
if I was making a couple 100 million a year, I'd be like, you know what, I'm probably not too fast. I'm still making 100 million a year. I'm not making any money. So you can pay for it, thanks.
Yeah.
Why should you have something for free?
Yeah. You know, I think you would appreciate my I have I don't do it too often, but every now and then a student comes into my class and they start talking about something and blah blah blah, and it slips from them that they pirated it, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've got about a 20-minute lecture about that, and here's what, and it's a harsh lecture, right? But here's why it's so harsh. Every student in my class is studying to be a writer. And they have just told me that they stole the creative content, whether it be music or movies or comics or whatever. They just confessed to me that they stole from whoever created it. And here's the other thing. But I hear people say, well, it's Marvel and DC. They won't, they won't miss it. Well, here's my argument to that, right? So anyone who knows me, you're gonna be hard pressed to find me sympathizing with corporations. But here's the problem: somebody did that book for the corporation. Some writer, some penciler, some inker, some colorist, some letter, some creators worked on that book. And when you steal it, you're not stealing from the corporation. You're stealing from those creators who worked on it.
That's right. You let the corporation steal from the artist, not you.
Right.
You got to pay.
The thing that's a whole different. That's a whole different discussion.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying. Yeah.
No, you're right though. You're right. Is that that's we shouldn't be doing that. You know, and I, like I said, I take a particularly harsh stance with my students because I'm like, what the heck are you doing? You're all in here studying to be writers. Do you want somebody to steal your work? And you know, I get the occasional smart aleck, well, if they'll read it, you know, and I'm like, no, you don't.
What you should do, Roland? You know what you should do? You just fail them straight away. So if you wanna steal stuff, you're out. You failed. I wouldn't tolerate that. But,
Yeah,
hey,
for what reason to be here? That's right.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why are you giving stuff? Look, I did it to try and just get build up a profile, and that's cool, no problem.
Yeah.
If you're just like, well, I'm just gonna make this stuff, just give it away because it's got no value.
Right. Yeah.
And I know Webtoons does pay, but only pays certain people.
Yeah, you have to make a lot of
You
views.
have to make a ridiculous amount of views. I mean,
Really?
it's insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what that number is by any chance?
Pick a number, and it's probably higher than that.
Probably.
Okay.
It's not going to be yours, no matter
I
what it
genuinely
is.
think it's in the hundreds of thousands.
Really?
To make a little bit of money.
Like
Wow.
every 500,000 readers, you get $2. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying.
I know the number's
Wow.
high, and it's mental. So
And I did just see just now trying to look up. They do maintain the rights to what you put on there.
yeah,
I did not
How's
realize
that?
that.
How's that?
I didn't realize that either.
Well,
if you
Haley,
have a very successful Webtoons, then they're not going to want you to go and print that somewhere else because people aren't going to go to Webtoons. If it's not successful, which most of them are, then I guess it doesn't matter to them financially.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, yeah, okay, or they might not. I don't know. I don't work for Webtoons.
that's interesting. Yeah, I did not realize that. I just assumed that it was yours. You could print now. So here's the question then, Pete. Can you pull it? Can you decide? Okay, I don't want it up there anymore because I'm going to print it. Can you pull it?
I assume so. I mean, I know people who put stuff on Webtoons, and there's another. I want to say Tapas.
Oh yeah, yep.
I think they put that. I think they do both. I don't know.
Okay.
Or they prefer to do one over the other.
But if maybe it could be if you pull it though, and you're not very popular, they're not going to really pursue it anyway. But
Sure.
my question though, that is if you have something. I think they have like a webtoon that even became a anime called Tower of God, and if they try to pull that from Webtoons, they might become a legal thing there.
Wow.
They might come in on that. But if you're just making 50 views per this is speculation. Let me put that out.
Right.
This is speculation. But if you have like 50 views a month, which is not bringing much traffic into Webtoons, oh yeah, you can go. We don't care. it's not,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not worth trying to keep you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't realize how big the monster is until you really wake it up.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So Haley, if you're listening to this, ignore what I said about Bear and Webtoons. Let's skip that. I didn't realize that. I had actually talked to Haley. I said, well, let's look to see about putting Bear on Webtoons and seeing, if it can get a little traction there. But yeah, I want to print it because it goes back to I want the paper, right?
Yeah.
I want the paper in my hands. I don't just want to look at it digital. Stephen Brown says creators work day and night on their craft. And then he says, if someone stole my comic just so they can read it, reading it or not, they didn't pay for it, and it would be stealing my hard work from me. Yeah, and I don't think you're going to find any disagreement from any of us here about that. So
not at all.
So what about so we talked a little bit excuse me, we talked a little bit about the graphic novels and the floppies. And Pete chimed in, said he likes the floppies. Wasn't sure why. I say it's because my argument was because of the episodic nature. But what about you, Roby, or Tommy, or C? What are your thoughts?
Finish my thought. One was the impact, right? I like the floppies just because you see it all at once,
Yeah.
and a smaller format, unless you had it on your computer. And I don't know. I don't find it to be as pleasurable.
Yeah. So what
it
about
just has like an emotional reaction that's different.
yeah? So what about the difference though between and take digital out of the picture, but like a floppy or a graphic novel?
Well, what's the difference?
Well, you need a
Well,
bookmark for one.
so
You mean like a trade paperback? Is that what you're
yeah, a
referring
trade
to?
paperback, a graphic.
Comics jammed into one big book. How did?
Well,
To
I was
me,
going to
it's the
ask you,
same.
Tommy, do you remember the Smart Aleck answer we used to give people when when you and I first started doing shows back in the 90s? Do you remember the Smart Aleck answers we would give them?
I don't know. I gave somebody smart ass answers.
Yeah, you really do, yeah. So one of the things that we would say when someone would say, "What's the difference between a comic book and a graphic novel?" Or people would say, "Well, I like comic books, but I don't, or I like graphic novels, but I don't like comic books." And the Smart Aleck answer would be, "Listen, that's I still hear that today in my class." But our Smart Aleck answer back then, well, the graphic novel is just a long comic book.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
But do you have a preference? I mean, over the see what about it? Over the floppies or graphic novels or trades or whatever you want to call them?
For me, I'll be honest with you, just to be honest, I don't know. It seems as though I read floppies better than I read trades.
Hmm.
Like I forget that I'm in a trade. In fact, come to think of it, I think I was reading the trade, and I got to go back into that one because I forgot I wasn't sure where I was at. It's like when Roberta said, you need a bookmark.
You need a bookmark.
That's for some reason the floppy. I'm the kind of person that will look at the end of the page to see how. I'll look at a book to see how many pages are in the book before I read it. Not that not that I won't read a book because of it, like a novel.
Okay. All right.
Not because I won't read the book because of it, but just because I gotta know or whatever. And I guess it just kind of, I don't know, maybe it adds to the.
So you watch the page numbers as you read?
No, not always. Not always.
So you're like, this is a 300-page novel. I'm on 100 page, 120, right?
Right. I'm trying to divvy. Okay, if I read 50 pages a day, then I can be done with this or whatever the case is. That's how. But with floppies, if I pick up a floppy, I'll usually finish that floppy all the way to the end.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a one sitting thing, right?
Yeah, and that. So for me, that it does work better that way, honestly. But as far as like the episodic, I like what is it? And you'll know it. The system where you're telling a story, but the background story is also going into what's going to be pulled out in the next issue or whatever the case is. You finish one story on the surface.
Yeah, subplot.
I can't remember the system. Yeah, because you're basically building up your two.
You talk about the Levitz paradigm?
Yes,
yeah.
That where you're building for future issues.
Mm-hmm.
One issue, but you're finishing a story in that one issue over it, and it's I like that. That's
I do too. Levitz paradigm, for those of you who don't know, is a method he designed, which is really very, very soap opera-y. But basically, you have an A plot, a B plot, and a C plot in every issue. The A plot obviously gets the lion's share of the pages. The B plot gets a few pages, and the C plot might get a mention. And then you finish the A plot in that issue, and then when you go to the next issue, the B plot becomes the A plot, the C plot becomes the B plot, and then you introduce a new C plot. So it's and
it
it was
the CW shows,
Yeah, yeah, very, very much so. Yeah, and it's the Levitz paradigm, and named after Paul Levitz, who was at DC for a long, long, long time. So, yeah, and you can actually find that if you want to
About to
see
pull out
it.
DC Guide to Writing.
Yep, sure is. Which is a textbook
Yeah.
in my class. So,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
all
that
those DC guides you would not think
they
it's
are
because
good.
they're fantastic.
Yeah,
the
they
one
really are.
the penciling one's done by oh man, the one that inked the Dark Knight Turns.
Mazzucchelli.
No, maybe I'm wrong. The Clausen Jensen.
Oh, Klaus Janson.
Klaus
Klaus
Janson.
Janson. Yeah.
Klaus
yeah.
Jensen. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the Levitz paradigm. I know you're not gonna be able to see it that well on here, but that just shows the A plot, B plot, C plot kind of thing, and then he's got the entire his entire thing mapped out. So funny story, funny true story here. When I first started writing, and when I was working on Cat and Mouse, way back when, I did that, but I didn't know what it was called. I just took a sheet of notebook paper and said, well, here's what I want to happen. And I knew that I didn't, I wanted to plant the seeds for the future. I guess maybe, you learn from osmosis. I'd read so many comic books. This is what, this is, and of course, I studying writing in college and everything, but I didn't know what the Levitz paradigm was, but it was the way I was putting it together.
It's very natural. It's very natural, and it helps to be able to pull somebody into a story. Because you had how Stan Lee would write down what was going on before you got into it, but he never wanted a book to feel like it was somebody's starting over. If it was always somebody's first book. So I think we've lost that.
Well, it's so funny that you say that. So I have a friend, and I'll call him out by name. So I have a I know someone who's still an editor at Marvel, and Mark Panicia. He got in trouble a couple of years ago. He was the editor on that the X-Men book where that artist planted all those kind of secret. Yeah. He was the editor. Yep. That was it. Anyway, so I dropped him a message and said, "Hey, look, we've been talking about this in my class, and Marvel used to have the kind of the rule that it had to be written as if every issue had to be written as if every issue was somebody's first issue." And I said, "Can you tell me, is that still a thing?" And he responded, and this is probably 3 years ago, maybe, but he responded, "Absolutely, that is still something we try to practice." So, which I think is a good, because this is one of my biggest problems about a lot of independent comics is we've got a, I don't know, there's been an infusion of people who don't really like comics, but they just see making comics as a way to pitch their TV show.
Yeah.
And so they're not thinking of them as comics, they're thinking of them as TV shows. And it's funny because my students have to read every week. They read. I will tell you this: if you want to learn something, teach it.
Yes.
One of the best ways to learn stuff is teaching it. And this is part of what really solidified me into that very camp of, you got to treat every issue as if it's someone's first issue, because the most common comment I get from my students about all of the various comics that they read is, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know who these characters were. I didn't know where we were. And it's because writers, again, and I'm specifically pointing to a lot of these new writers who are like, well, they can see it. It's like, okay, yes, you're going to have a fantastic artist that's going to draw you a beautiful building, but it's not going to hurt you to write Chicago. It's just a word, and it tells the reader, oh, that's the city of Chicago. Cool. I know where I'm at, and one of the things that I show in support of this is that, all the Marvel movies, I don't know if you guys even noticed it, but when they transition from one scene to another, they've got this big superimposed Berlin, It's words. And so I don't know what it is about. Again, my only thought is I blame television because that's what a lot of them want to do. But they're so afraid to put words on the paper, and I'm like, no, it's a comic book. It's meant to be read. What was that, Tommy? A swirly? Did you give the truck a swirly?
I don't like this.
You don't like that one?
Oh man, if the penciler only knew what I was. Oh, he's sitting right there. I'll erase all this.
So, no, I'm sitting there watching it while I'm talking. Suddenly, I see this little swirly go around. I'm like, "What was that?"
I'm already cringing as it is. But,
Cassisi Harris says, "Hello, what's up, Cassisi? Good to see you here, sir." So anyway, yeah, that's
I wouldn't blame all television for that. I would blame HBO, Netflix, those type of things. Those big studios that come in and they're more focused on one season than they are one issue. Because it used to be, you would watch like Hunter, for instance, when when I was younger, Hunter came on.
What's
Hunter?
What's Hunter? I don't even know what that is.
Hunter, right? Fred Dryer, come on. With a police show, for instance.
Okay.
Hill Street Blues or whatever.
Okay, gotcha.
So each episode would be one thing.
Yes.
And you might could carry on some private stuff or whatever the case is from episode to episode later on. But when you had the Netflix shows where you could just drop everything and the whole season is basically one big story. That's what a lot of these independent comics are. and honestly, there's a couple of them because if I don't get the first issue, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll read the trade if I have the money to buy the trade at that point in time. But if I miss the first issue, which because the spectator market's still out there, may not be as big as it used to be, but it's still out there. You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss that first issue. If they're not gonna do, sometimes they do prints, second, third, fourth printing. Sometimes they don't. But if you miss it, you got to buy the trade. And if you don't have the money to spend sometimes it's $10. Sometimes.
Oops, we lost him.
You go.
Sometimes it's $10.
Sometimes $10. Thanks.
Mic drop.
Yeah. That was kind of funny. All right, I got 9:13. Roberta, you want to jump up there?
Get on in there.
Yeah, sure.
All right. You can share. Brett will make sure you get up there on the screen. I like it. If you could see Michael, he's stuck like this, right, with his hand out. It's like sometimes it's $10.
Not $10.
All right.
Very cool.
I think you got it.
Yep. I can see you. I haven't seen it I haven't seen Brett catch it yet. Brett.
Cat and mouse page.
Yes. Nice.
Got his color better, right? Roland?
Yes.
The whole thing's reloading.
Oh really? So you see nothing but all these boxes of square boxes, right?
I've got you. We got. Everyone's back now. Nearly
Okay.
everyone's back. Yeah.
Still waiting on C. Yeah, so funny. While we're waiting for him to come back, sometimes it might be $10. Wonder if you can remember that thought. Stephen Brown said, if my comic got adapted to TV, great, but I'd rather continue to write and draw comics. TV would just be the more exposure to the comic story. Yeah, I think that's me. I don't write, and again, I think this is a kind of a problem with a lot of what we're seeing. A lot of the new comics that we're seeing now is that I don't write for. I don't write for. It's not a TV pitch, right? I write because I enjoy the comics and I enjoy making the comics. It's not a TV pitch. would I be excited? Well, of course I would. What a lot of people might not realize is Cat and Mouse was actually optioned in the 90s. Now it didn't go anywhere, but it was optioned by a really cool company, and they proceeded to destroy it. Let me show you that I can prove to you that they proceeded to destroy it, because I have all of these files right here, and this is the files of the treatment and what they did to the story. Oh my gosh, it was so bad. It was so bad, y'all. They
You should have
basically
just take the money and walk away. Just do it, Alan Moore. Just take. Thanks very much. Nothing to do with me. Do what you like.
yeah.
Nothing to do
Yeah,
with me.
part of my problem was, we did not get Alan Moore money. we got independent comic option money from 1990s. We did not. We didn't get very much. So, I mean, it was nice to have, but we didn't. Tommy, you probably remember we threw a party.
I wasn't invited.
Yeah,
Tommy
you
was. I was
were.
about to say, but you didn't invite him.
I remember, but for some reason I remember not. I didn't go for some reason. I wasn't there.
Huh. I know
But I
Roland Paris
remember.
was there. Trying to remember who else. Anyway,
Yeah.
long story short,
Anyway. You weren't invited. Get over it.
yeah, I mean, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, well, then that's not that's not why I'm doing it. I mean, heck, I'd be honest with you, if I was trying to pitch a TV show, I would actually try to pitch a TV show. I wouldn't be working on comics. You
that's
know, so, and I think that's one of my chief complaints about a lot of the comics that I see today, particularly independent comics, is that they're just a TV pitch in disguise, and I'm not really
Yeah.
interested in that.
Well, we see a lot of things that come through Kablam that were like,
bet.
this is somebody's just trying to. Well, it is fine. They're trying to do something.
I quoted Pete. It's funny. I quoted Pete in my class. I guess last week or other week.
Oh.
Yeah,
About making all that money. Oh.
No, not
That
that.
money I promised him. I'm not giving him a penny.
No, Pete
little
actually
TV
said.
deal.
He said something during one of the streams that we were doing to promote our Kickstarter. And I don't remember the exact words, so don't hold this as an exact quote. But one of the things I talk about in my class is silent panels. And I have a lot of students, they want to write a book that has, they want to write a comic script that has no words to it. And of course, I always tell them, an illustration book that has like this, that has no words to it, is called a picture book. And most of us stopped reading picture books when we were 6. Give the reader, comic books are read, so give your reader some words. So I started quoting Pete recently, because Pete said something, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, and it made me feel really good, by the way. So Pete said something. I like Roland scripts because he has words in his panels, and that makes the readers look at my art longer.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of cool. I never
think
thought of.
He was joking when he said that.
I don't want these words here.
It's all in the way.
Get the words out of the way. Remove those words.
That's really what he said. He said, I like it when the words are out of the way so people can look at my artwork longer.
I like it when their words are there, but I prefer it when they're not.
I don't think that's the way you said it the first time. Now I'm not as excited about the quote.
But have you ever? But go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say something silly. No. Let's continue on my stupid joke.
But have you ever picked up one of those books that has like two or three balloons of dialogue? Most of it's just fighting, and you get through it, and you're kind of like,
what did I read?
What was this?
Right.
I feel unfulfilled when I get that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's it. I use a page. I use a page 2 and 3 example. So I've stolen this. So I've used to always say this, but I've stolen the kind of the wording from Tommy and my friend Barry Gregory. And when he talks about silent panels, he said a silent panel needs to scream, and to which I agree. Right. So I use pages 2 and 3 from Scout #1. I wish I had it on my drive here. I scanned those 2 pages and I use it in my class. So on those 2 pages, there's a scout enters the scene on a motorcycle. A couple old codgers. It's set in when it was written, it was post-apocalyptic times. I think it was a 1980s book, but the year of the story is 99. And so he comes into this gas station and they start talking at him about, throwing insults at him, some racial stuff at him, just basically being jerks, right? And you get to the other page, you still see them, they're still talking. Scout gets off his motorcycle, starts to get the gas down. We never see his face at all, right? And he sticks the gas thing in it, and he's into his motorcycle to pump some gas. And one of the guys says something like, "Hey, I said you got to pay before you pump." And then they're like, "Hey, I don't guess you hear so well. Well, let me knock some wax out of his ear." And he grabs a big pipe wrench, right? And the last panel, Scout turns, and there's no words in it, right? It screams at you. It screams, man, Scout is about to kick some butt, right? It's a powerful panel, but it's the only one on those 2 pages that doesn't have any text on it. And so that's the example that I use for my students is like, this screams at you. You don't have to have, but a lot of times what I see is they have 2 pages of a character walking through a hallway and vacuum in a room or picking up stuff. I'm like, we don't need to see boring. Yeah, it's like, or if you feel like you need to show that, give me some subtext, give me some captions, some first-person narrative, so that you can actually layer this and make us care about what's going on, right?
Right.
So, how do we get off on that? Y'all caused me to rant.
Well, we're in hour 2 now, so it's
So hour 2 is the rant. All right, you know what? Let's talk about variant covers a little bit.
Ooh.
So let's do this. What's the first variant cover each of you remember?
Oh my goodness.
And I mean a real variant, not just like a reprint. Oh, this is a reprint that has a different cover, because I don't think that counts. So while you guys are thinking, I'll tell you.
My goodness.
Me, I think books started coming out of A and B covers. I can't remember which books when that would started though. I guess I probably noticed it when it was perhaps Fathom, Michael Turner's Fathom.
Oh, Michael Turner's Fathom.
I started picking up from #1. I think that came with an A and B cover. I think I bought, if it was his artwork, I bought it. That's what I remember. I think they did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It was the 90s.
90s, yeah.
Oh, it's got to be the 90s, definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm just trying to think of the first ones.
So, so the first one for me, and I hope I'm not stealing Roby's thunder here. The first one for me was the Protectors. And
really,
yep, because we did a newsstand cover and a direct market cover. So and they had different art on them, and of course this would have been what's that?
Dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So for me, it was a Protectors, because we had the newsstand cover and we had the direct market cover. So there were 2 very different covers. That's the first one I remember.
See,
Yeah, and
'cause
we
I'm
also
thinking,
had the holographic,
Yeah,
which were so
yeah.
cool.
For the Ultraverse stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is that what's the first one you remember, Roberta?
Yeah, I don't know if Protectors is the first one, but it might be
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah. I was trying to think which ones actually came in, and there were a lot of Ultraverse titles I think we kind of did start working, and I don't know what first was. Sorry.
That's okay. See what's the first one you remember?
oh golly, I can't think of any first one really. I remember Image was doing it for a lot of their books. Like Telos used to have a couple different covers, but it wasn't every book either though. It was like the first issues would have different covers. It wasn't every book, and then I think it slowly trickled in and started to be almost every book. But
yeah,
like the maybe the
didn't
cliffhanger
notice.
stuff. Oh, I know what I remember. Gen 13.
Okay.
And it was like 8 different covers. For I think I can't remember if it was the mini series or if it was the mini series or it was the run of it. But
Right.
I remember I didn't see all of them, but I remember like Wizard talking about the 8 different covers for it, and like, golly, who's going to collect all that?
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think that's probably then. That's of course that was like 94, 95, something like that.
So I just did a quick. Tommy, do you remember the first one you saw?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, but I'm trying to remember the names of them. There was some stuff that came out before, all that Image stuff. That there was a bunch of. Most of it was a lot of the, not to be silly, but it was one bunch of those good girl, bad girl kind of booby books kind of things.
Oh yeah, you had the clean version and
and the naked versions and all that kind of stuff, and the But you remember a book called Creed? You remember Creed?
Yeah, by Trent Kanuga,
yeah, that was in the mix of all those. He had a bunch of variant covers there at the beginning too. But I'm trying to go through the actual dates of all this.
So I did a quick Google search, and the funny thing about it is popped up, and I'm like, oh, I remember that now, but I wouldn't have placed it as a variant cover. Do you guys remember John Byrne's Man of Steel from the 1980s? I know Pete doesn't remember that.
I did the exact same search that you did.
Did you really?
Man of Steel, and I remember this. Yeah, it's the one where he's pulling his shirt. Yeah.
And here's the funny thing: I've got both of those covers.
Yeah.
Right. So, and this would have been it says mid 80s, but I can't tell. It doesn't give a more oh wait a minute, here we go. I believe 1986. So 1986, The Man of Steel by John Byrne had a variant. Let's see if it's I was gonna say one's a newsstand and one's direct, but
yeah, because one of them's got a barcode and the other one doesn't. Yeah.
Well, I don't see the barcode. I don't see the barcode on either one of these.
This one that I'm looking at.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
And you know what? That's for at Malibu. That was kind of how you could tell is that one of them had the barcode and the other one did not.
Yeah, for this sold in the stores compared to the comic stores compared to like on the shelf at Walmart or wherever.
Comic shops had the barcode so they could scan it, right? And then the ones at Walmart, they just had usually it was just like a Spider-Man head.
About this one, you remember the giant size annual Spider-Man where they got married and he's in his costume and one of the villains in the background and the family in the other. Yeah.
I remember that now. Yeah.
I'm trying to get a date on it. Let's see if I can figure out the date.
So that was my first question here. The first one you remember. What do you guys think about them? What are your now let me also say this. Temper your responses knowing that a lot of people who support our Kickstarters support variant
variant.
covers. So
Yeah, I don't mind a variant. It gets a bit silly when there's 20 or 30 of them.
like Fantastic Four #1.
You don't. Why that many?
Are Eternals number 98? 98 of them? I think they had like 98
What?
covers.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was what I was trying to remember. Eternals.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, you know what? I remember now. It reminds that reminds me. I think it was Darkness number 11 came with 11 different covers. I remember this at the time. I was thinking, I can't afford 11 covers. What is this? I thought that one looks really nice. I can't afford that. I'm just going to get the regular cover. And
Yeah.
there was a foil cover. So I really want that. I eventually did get that foil cover years later. I managed to get it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was always a fool for those special edition foil covers or the holographic covers or the chromium covers. I kind of always just liked those. I thought it was just kind of fun. Now I wouldn't spend, I'd get my regular books, and if I had some extra money, I'm like, yeah, give me that crazy glow in the dark cover. That's kind of cool.
Right.
Did you see a few years back? DC did these they lenticular covers.
Yeah, they sure did. Yep.
And they sold like I managed to get all of those just because my comic shop was quite generous to me. Said we'll get you one of each, no problem. But they were going for silly money after that.
Right. So I have to look up. I have to look it up. What's the lenticular cover?
They were cool. I don't mind that.
You remember those kid books back in the day where you looked at it from the different angles, and as you turned it like this, it changed the picture. Yeah. Yeah, there's a prism. Yeah, we had a few people that we printed some books up for them that way, where you can buy those sheets, right? That's got the prism built into the sheet, and you just have to print the books a certain way. And there's some Photoshop filters that you can use that will take you take 3 layers. Like in Photoshop, you do a layer. But you do like 3 layers, and then you run the filter, and it'll split them up into the little slivers, right? And then you lay these sheets over it, and you can go. Woo,
are you saying that you can print that?
Well, I can't print those plastic things. No, if you buy the filter, it's a special plastic piece of. You don't print on the plastic thing. You just print it on regular paper, and you put this plastic sheet over the top of it.
Oh.
Yeah, and
tape in it with the
the
light up.
Yeah, so basically that sheet would bend the light depending on what angle that you looked at it, and so it would take all of those layers and make all. So when we printed this thing, for this guy, it had you couldn't tell what it looked at. It looked like crap what we printed, but when you put that piece of plastic over the top of it, depending on which angle you looked at it, it would go.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Those were kind of neat. Yeah, that's just a regular print job. It's the special sheets. You can buy those sheets. Those are not they're not cheap, but you can buy those sheets.
So what do you think the appeal of variant covers is?
I hate the variant stuff where it's just like the same picture and it's the same cover, and it's just like, here's one with a blue background of the same thing, and here's one with a green background of this. It's like, that's lazy. I don't mind it when it's like a whole new cover.
Yeah, I like the different images.
And then usually if it's at the comic shop, I'll pick the one that I like. I'm not going to buy. Now I have bought too many of that stuff before, but yeah, I'll get it. I think it's fun. I usually won't spend the money on. I won't put something that I normally get to the side. That's when I go to the shops. But if I had some extra cash, like I said, and there was that glow in the dark cover. Glow in the dark covers are cool. I got a bunch of them. It was just stupid stuff that I'd never read the insides of. I just wanted a glow in the dark cover. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Which we can print glow in the dark.
Really?
Well, we don't have the stuff for it, but we could print glow in the dark.
Did you ever find red? Like we were talking about.
We got to figure it out.
Okay, good.
We can do it with the silver. You just print red toner. We didn't realize. We'll talk.
Okay,
about it.
all right, cool. I'm glad you got that figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you may not have heard my last question. it was like, what do you think? What do you think the appeal of the variant covers is?
Honestly, as far as I think it goes back to the spectator
Spectability, I think.
market.
I don't go out my way to get them. As always, if
He
I'd like
can't
to
hear
look
you.
at something, I'll get it. I don't. Some of them go a bit crazy after. There's this recent Spider-Man cover, which was a nice cover. It was a variant. And it went crazy. People were going mad trying to get hold of a copy. I couldn't understand why. I was like, oh, it's a nice cover, and it's a variant cover. Why is it so in demand?
Yeah,
I don't quite get it, but there's clearly a market for them.
yeah.
So yeah.
See, Michael, what do you think?
Like I said, I think it goes back to kind of
He's gone.
Pete, you
hear
can't
me?
hear him. He's talking, but you can't hear him.
Oh, I am.
I'm trying to get this where I don't see myself all the time. Hold
Well, so what you got to do
Here
is
we go.
click on that. Yeah.
I got it.
Oh, no,
this
he's just
happens.
going
This
round and
happens.
round.
This happens every now and again. So where you don't get.
Well, this
actually see
is-
somebody.
Something happened in my browser. Now I can see you. I didn't see you for a while there. But I think it goes back to like the spectator market, to the collectors and everything. For me, it just pick the cover I like. What I don't like is for instance, I have a local comic book shop here. If they have a variant cover, they'll jack the price up on it.
Yeah.
And not all of them do it. Just this one comic book shop, they'll jack them up to $10 right off the if it's brand new.
Yeah.
So
Now, is it one of those that they have to order, a bunch of copies in order to get that? You
maybe,
think?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be.
'Cause, you know,
I guess possibility.
Some of these publishers have this we talked about this a little bit earlier. Some of these publishers have these programs where you order this many copies of the regular edition and you get this. Well, some of the retailers will price that variant so that it pays for the losses of all the others, right? They're like, yeah, I'm never going to sell all of these regular editions, so I'm going to price this variant cover so that it pays, and I'll just stick this 100 books. I'll stick 90 of them because 10 of them will sell, but I'll stick 90 of those in the cheap box, right?
Right.
Or I'll save it for Free Comic Book Day and give it out at Free Comic Book Day, right?
That might be a possibility. I just know that I could go one comic book shop, buy the variant cover for the cover price, $4.99 now, and then you go to the other one and they're selling that same variant for $10, and it's kind of like,
Yeah, clearly they're trying to, get a little something. Yeah, my thoughts are this. I as I already just mentioned, I did buy the Superman, the 2 Superman covers, mostly because I thought it was at the time. I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's 2 different. It's the same book, but 2 different covers. And then I remember the X-Men, the Jim Lee stuff. Had number 1 in it, but they all hooked together, so you could lay them side by side, and it created this one great big image. And I'm like, okay, now that's really cool. I like that. So I have 5 copies of X-Men number 1, so that I could lay them side by side. And I know, like the Fantastic Four recently, they did like 30 different covers. And that's one of the ones that I went, okay, that's a little too much. I think that's
a lot of books.
Yeah, that's a lot of books. But now I noticed too. But see, one of the things I saw is that Scotty Young did a couple of the covers. So Scotty Young did a Mr. Fantastic. He did a Thing. He did a Human Torch, and he did an Invisible Woman. I'm like, okay. Now, if I were buying, which I didn't buy any of those, by the way, but if I were buying, I might buy the set.
If you're Scotty Young fan,
yeah, so I could get all 4 Scotty Young covers. I like his art, but I would buy. I'm like, okay, I can get this, so I have all 4 covers that Scotty Young did. But I think 30 is just I don't know. To me, that feels like really trying to stiff it to fans. It's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. As far as Fantastic Four is concerned, they probably did that so they could they could make their money back on Fantastic Four. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's not. How many times have they rebooted Fantastic Four? It's not a book that sells much anymore. But you ask anybody comment, you always have people come in and ask for it, and that's what I think was the case. Is they're like, oh, we'll have Scotty Young do a cover. No, we'll get him to do 4 covers. Then
Right.
that way we sell 4 books out of this one book and make our money back for printing this thing to begin with. So that's
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I kind of get that. I kind of get the idea that you get one guy to do a series of 4 covers, one with each of the characters on it. That makes sense to me. 30 covers though, 30 different variations. When I did a store signing when that book was out, and I kid you not, this store had one big long wall of the comics on, new comics on the wall, and they were racked side by side, and they had them in sections, right? So they had the independent section, the DC section, the Marvel section, and I'm gonna say this was probably, I don't know, let's see, what, 12 to 15 foot long for each of the sections, and Fantastic Four #1 occupied one entire shelf. I mean, just from one side to the other side, it was all Fantastic Four #1, all variant covers. And I'm like, that's a lot of space devoted to one issue. That's really not going to sell that many copies,
It has a cult base. It has a cult following, I guess. Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four?
Yeah. Because I've heard people, go in the store and ask if they're putting out Fantastic Four. Because, like I said, you're always having reboots. But I don't think it has that big of a following to have that many variants. That seems extensive.
Yeah. Again, to me, that's the kind of thing that feels like, a couple of variants I get, but that's the kind of thing to me that just feels like you're stiffing. You're trying to take advantage of your audience, and you're kind of sticking to them. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, if they're putting out that many, surely they must be making money off of these, huh? Money off of variants like that, huh?
You would assume so. Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't keep doing it, right? If it wasn't, I mean, that's kind of how we do it too. Our Kickstarters, we've got a couple of variants, and clearly, we have a group of folks who support us that like the variants. So it's and like I said, I get it. I get a couple of them because it's fun to get to get your regular art team on it, and then you also get a Stephen. You get a Stephen. Alexa, shut up.
Alexa,
stop.
I know that feeling.
Alexa has an opinion on
What is she
variant covers.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
You can get the Samuel L. Jackson variant on Alexa.
Oh my gosh, that one scares me. Did y'all talk about? All right, so talk about these things. Did y'all ever see? I think it was Burger King. Burger King's brilliant ad that triggered all the Google pluses, or the what's the Google one called? There's a Google version of Alexa. What's that called?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Google.
Hey
Google. Is it Hey Google? Hey Google?
Maybe.
Anyway, so Burger King made this. Oh, and it ticked so many people off. They finally pulled the ad, but they had a television commercial that had said, "Hey Google, what's a Whopper?"
Oh,
and it triggered these whatever they are, the Googles, right? So people are sitting there in their homes, and this advertisement comes on, and it triggers their Google things, and it starts telling them this whole big spiel about the Whoppers or whatever it was. I thought that I'm thinking that's brilliant.
Burger King has gotten some serious terrorism tactics with their advertising. They did that to Twitch streamers, where they would they give $5 to a Twitch streamer, and they'd have a robotic voice come on there and talk about, you should go enjoy a juicy Whopper or whatever, and it was ticking them off. It was like, wait a minute, we didn't let you come in here and advertise. What are you doing? So, they have some tactics. I'll give them that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I'll have to see if I can't do, because I saw I actually saw it. Someone made a recording of it, right, and I saw it on YouTube, and it was just funny. Made me laugh. And I'm like, that's actually really pretty smart. So, all right. So if you have variant covers, what do you want to see on variant covers? What are the best now, except for the boobies and no boobies, the clean and the naughty. I think I've seen them called the naughty versions, right? So except for the clean and the naughty versions, right? What do you want to see on your variant covers?
You know, the one that we get a lot at Kablam is the people are pulling off as variant, or they call them the virgin covers, right?
Mhm.
It's just where it doesn't have anything to do with the virgins, but it's where they just doesn't have any logos or anything on the front.
Oh, just the artwork.
Yeah, just the artwork.
So there's no price or company name or nothing at all? No creator names?
Yeah,
Wow.
we get that a lot. So because
Really?
I mean, that'd be the easiest one to make. You just don't, you just color it up and don't put anything on it and call that an extra and call that a variant. But no, I like my variants to be just total different
Yeah.
stuff. And if it's a guest star artist, working on it, that's kind of cool. Let them
Yeah.
make one of the characters do something funny.
Well, speaking of Scotty Young, I used to like the variant covers he did when they were the kiddie versions, and they're usually they're very, very funny. I
Yeah.
always enjoyed those.
Yeah.
But what I don't want to see, I don't like him when he's just a headshot character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's not very exciting. I want something to really catch my eye and go, wow, that's amazing. Not
Right.
yeah.
And I think I
Yeah.
saw a couple of those on the Fantastic Four covers too. Just the headshots. Now,
Yeah.
if I remember, Scotty Young's was a full body but no background.
Yeah, usually he would do the and it would be a little speech bubble, and it would be a joke. It'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh. Great. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, no, I would prefer to see the artists that I like that. Of course, the composition has to be there too.
Right.
Because if you do have a single character, there was a Ghost Rider comic years ago where it was just a white comic. She had like a spear going through Ghost Rider. He was kind of down in the corner and kind of going through his eye, and it just brought you to that. And it was, you can use negative space in that instance, but if it's just kind of like, wow, there it is. It's not a variant cover. That's like, no.
That's a convention sketch that you slapped a logo on, right?
Yeah.
What about variant covers that are more like gimmick covers? Like, what do Malibu had the ferret one where the bullet shot right through the middle of it, kind of thing. Where they did
that was Protectors.
Oh, was it? Okay.
They had the bullet. Protectors number 5 had the bullet hole. Yeah.
Oh, I heard about that book.
Did you really? Guess who was the editor of that, Pete?
Oh, was it you?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about that?
It was one of the. Now it was already in the works when I got there, but when I got to the company, but yeah, I had to shepherd that in. Now the ferret one though you're talking about, Tommy, the ferret one was a completely die cut cover. It's the first of its kind in comics, right?
Well, isn't it this? Wasn't it basically the?
It's
No. It was the cover. What did they do with the protector? You had the edges were cut off.
Here's an X-Mutants cover. The kind of the foil, like kind of.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of consider those more like gimmick covers because they're foil or they're chromium or whatever. But those would be different than just your regular variant, which is just a printed cover that's just something different, right? So What is the weirdest variant cover, or not variant, the weirdest gimmick cover that you guys have seen? Like I said, I mentioned a couple of the glow in the dark ones that are kind of cool. There's been some where they've like fringed the edges. I should have pulled some of these out.
So this is the
yeah.
ferret one. See how it's
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. Where they completely die cut around the corners
Uh-huh.
and the tops and all that. Now that's cool. I think that's neat.
Yeah. Now you know who did this, right? The art.
That's Dean, isn't it?
Yeah, Dean Zachary did this. Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing is cut around the edges.
Yeah.
I think the weirdest or maybe the coolest one I've seen was the Sergio Aragonés did they had the little fold out on it. I forget the name of it. You remember that one, Roberta?
Like
I
a
do.
gatefold kind of thing.
No. It was just like the front of it had just a little
Mighty
fold
Magnor
thing.
one.
Mighty Magnor, that's probably what it was.
Mhm.
I don't know if I have any of those. But yeah, that was it's almost embarrassing how quickly I can get to those books.
I was going to bring that up. How do you have all these books just sitting?
Well, I have a great rack behind
Oh,
me.
you are sitting in a room with about 1 million comic books. So
Yeah, well, not quite 1 million, but yeah. Yeah.
Not quite a
It's like
million.
a
Only
librarian.
999,998.
I don't see my Mighty Magnors right here with all my other Malibu stuff. But I do have them somewhere. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was. But I do remember I had this cool little fold out kind of thing.
trying to
I think somebody needs to do a cover, like a birthday card. You know how when you have a birthday card
It's got one
and
of
you
those
open
little-
up,
little
It-
electronic chips in it that talk to you.
and it starts singing to you or something like that. I think somebody needs to do a comic book like that, so you can open it up and.
I am trying to think of the book that had it was a bagged book that had a condom in it. What was that book?
What?
Yes, I am trying to think of this.
What?
I bought
the
some
static
stupid
book, was it?
I bought some stupid books.
Static? You
Well,
you
you
talking
remember?
about DC Static?
Yeah, remember they did the cover where he was about to have sex for the first time or whatever the case. It was.
I do not remember that at all. No.
Oh yeah, yes.
No, I was a sucker for buying some of the and I never read most of them. It's like this is just a weird cover and just. I'm trying to think of what that book was. I don't remember.
Jackson Rennick says radio DJ in Dallas, Russ Martin, used to call out during his show for Alexa to call mom. That's great. Yeah, so we should do that. Well, no one broadcasts these, right? Everybody listens to our streams in with earbuds or headsets or right. I mean, nobody puts it up on the big screen to listen to it.
We watch a bunch of stuff on YouTube on our TV here.
Do you?
We've got an Alexa thermostat here. Oh, she just came on. Shut up.
She heard you.
She did. And people do that on the stupid YouTube videos all the time. They'll start. There's a bunch of them where they can say Alexa order such and such from Amazon, and it'll start to try to order stuff. And it's like, stop it, stop. So that way we don't have her tied into any kind of money buying things.
Do you guys remember the Mad Magazine fold-in?
Oh, I
Gimmick.
love those.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
those are good.
And it-
Al Jappy, wasn't it? The
I don't
artist.
remember the name, but probably. Yeah.
I could actually another embarrassing fact.
Yeah.
I could put my hands on my Mad magazines really quick too because
Oh boy.
they're right down there.
Yeah, they were funny.
I love
remember
Mad magazine.
That was one of my earlier, play toys. I think I thought
Now-
it was funny.
Now, Roberta, did you also read Crazy or Cracked?
No.
Which one of
didn't.
those was Marvel's venture? Anybody remember? So Mad Magazine was really popular, and so Marvel decided to do a quote unquote Mad Magazine, and it was either called
I don't think it was
Crazy or
Cracked, huh?
Cracked. Was that Cracked? Was that Marvel's?
I don't know if Cracked was Marvel's or not because it's no, because I wouldn't think
I don't know.
I think they're still kind of around online,
Cracked is?
but I don't think.
Yeah, that's
Cracked used to have the little blonde haired guy with the cap on him.
Yes. Not
no, it
because Mad had What Me Worry. What is his name?
Alfred E.
now?
Newman.
Alfred E. Newman. Yeah. Okay, so it was Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy magazine from published by Marvel from 73 to 83 for a total of 94 regular issues.
Yeah, Cracked lasted a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, Cracked had Cracked magazine.
It went all the way to 2007, 1958.
Really?
And yeah, their publishers, they had first, I think it was major magazines, Globe Publishing and Mega Media.
Oh,
Yeah,
this-
look who the founding editor is, though.
Saul
Brodsky.
Brodsky.
That's
Yeah.
a big comic book name. Yep. Because he became the production man. Yeah, there you go. He became the production manager and publishing vice president at Marvel. So, yeah, those were really good.
Yeah. Oh, I loved Cracked.
Oh man.
Cracked and Mad and
Yeah, I'm checking out. I typed in gimmick comic covers, and there's all kind of ones that I forgot about. Like, so there's a Ghost Rider. It's all black and white image, but the flame of his head is all glow in the dark. I have that one.
I remember that. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I got that one too. Yeah.
That's a cool one. I got the Spectre one where his body's glow in the dark, and the background and everything is he's doing one of these kind of floating at you kind of thing. That's really cool.
Jackson
forgot
Rennick
about all
says
this.
Cracked does online skits now. And they actually have an online skit that I used to teach a class called character creation and development, and they have a skit on there that talks about personality types, and they run through how you can use these a specific thing practice to assign personality types to characters, and then they run through this thing where they go through the Fantastic Four TV shows, I think Sex and the City, and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? And of course the weird and the cool thing was that the colors of the turtles jived with the colors that were associated with the four humors. Is what they were talking about, the four humors. Now I don't use the four humors
okay.
for my stuff. I use the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator for when I create the characters, but it's really good. I'll have to dig that up too. It's funny, but it's very, very much worth watching. So
these foil stamped or foil embossed covers are really cool. I've got a bunch of these too. I forgot all about these.
Do you have the Necroscope one? I was the editor of the Necroscope one that had, but it was a little bitty tiny little hologram on the front.
I think I do have that one.
Do you really? Yeah, it was like the whole comic book, and then it was a tiny little square hologram on the front. It was one of those things. If you look at it, you're like, yeah,
I think I remember
somebody gave them the wrong specs.
Very tight.
This is neat. Some of these are really cool.
Pete actually looks kind of royal in his robe, doesn't he?
I'm a lord.
Oh.
Ooh! Oh, I have a new color. All right.
My selection disappeared without my permission.
I was gonna say it all went to like a flesh color. Put
I
that.
see
Yeah.
your Magnor book that you guys were talking about. I remember. I've got this one someplace.
The first issue has this on
Yeah,
the
the kind of
cover. Yeah, it's
pop-
kind of it pops out.
Yeah,
A
I'm looking
pop-out
at it
cover,
right
I
now.
think is what we called it.
Yeah, that's
Pop-out
cool.
cover.
I've
Yeah.
got one. I think y'all sent me one. I've got one of those.
Probably you
Yeah.
were on the comp list back in the day.
Yeah, yep.
Back in the
That
day.
was, I forgot all about that. That is so cool.
Well, all right.
We need to figure out how to do this.
My clock says 10 o'clock, so that means we've reached the end of our. I know the end of our time. Time flies by so quickly when I'm having fun with you guys.
And Pete wants to go to sleep.
No,
I'll
he
be going to
doesn't.
sleep now.
He's feeling royal in that robe. He's going to be snapping his fingers.
We'll be wearing this for the rest of the week now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you to everyone who hung out with us. We appreciate your participation in the chats. Nobody asked us any really tough questions. Nobody asked us any questions this week, did they? But we appreciate you hanging with us and talking fun, geeky stuff. Shout out to our sponsor, Daytona Beach Comic Con. Don't forget, September 18th and 19th. Make your plans to be there. Silverline will be there, and you should be there too. And come have a fun, geeky time with us. Thanks to our usual producer, New Armor Media. Don't forget to look those guys up. If you want to get yourself online, they can push all the knobs and turn the buttons and all that kind of stuff, and take good care of you. Thank you to Brett, who will be having a birthday here in a couple of days, becoming the big 2-1. Thank you, Brett, for stepping in for Carlos as his family goes through this trying time right now. The Stranger says, happy Sunday, Silverline family. Thank you very much, The Stranger. Happy Sunday right back at you. See, it was so good of you to join us here. We're going to be seeing you regularly on Sundays now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Good.
If I can get Discord to work.
Well, now when Carlos is here, we don't use Discord.
That's a shame.
It's yeah. I hear it in your voice. We use a browser based. I can't remember. It's Lightstream or Lightstorm or something like this. It's a browser based something like StreamYard.
Yeah.
But that's a Carlos thing. I don't think any of us have any access to that. So when he's not here, we kind of have to default to Discord. So anyway, tell folks where they can find you.
You can find me, of course, on Facebook, Instagram. Look for C. Michael Lanning, and CML80 over there on Twitter. Yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. And Sunday nights here now.
All right, that's right. Now here Sunday nights. Roby, tell folks where they can see you, and I mean like Roby Conroy, not Roby Dude, right?
That's right. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Roby Conroy. Just look me up there, or on Silverline. Be there too.
Hanging with us.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, what about you?
Just go into the Googles and type in Florimonte, FLORIMONTE, and look me up. I'm pretty much mostly on Facebook, but you can go to infernostudios.com. There's some links there, and of course I have got a TikTok page called Tommy Don't TikTok. And as soon as I get 20 followers, see, nobody ever goes on there. 20 followers, I'll put another video up there. But you guys won't go on there, so as soon as you get on there, I'm going to put another dancing video on there.
All right,
that's right.
You guys, we
Wait,
need
another one. Uh-oh.
Oh, we'll have to ask our friends at OCD for that.
Yeah, he's got the only copy of it.
He's got it. Yeah,
Steve does. Yeah.
And your royalness, Pete. Tell folks where they can find you and all your Thanos glory.
Here.
They can find me on the interweb. If they type in Peter Clinton Art, they will discover me. Everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. the TikTok.
Mhm.
The tickety talk.
Yeah, I mean, I use TikTok really just to watch funny videos. I don't
Yeah.
post anything on there now. I've managed to get rid of all the dancey videos.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry, Tommy.
how did you get rid of those?
They
can't
just
go
don't come up on my feed anymore. All that comes up on my feed are like jokey, funny
Really?
videos.
I mean,
How did you do that?
I can't do.
I still get all the.
Yeah, because you and I apparently are looking for that, and that's what they keep
You
sending
go
us.
looking for those sexy dances. That's what you're gonna get.
Oh, you know,
Ugly old dudes, and maybe we'll start getting something else on there.
so the only time I go to TikTok is when my daughter sends me a link to something funny or something she finds funny, and so I click on the link and I go to TikTok and I watch the video that she has sent me. But then all of the recommended videos are all of these teenage girls dancing to stupid stuff. You know, I mean, this I've watched some of them, and I'm like, that doesn't even make any sense what you're doing. I don't even get that, right? So, yeah, that's what that's the only time I ever go to TikTok.
You can't see. I've just
No.
pulled it up, and there's naked people. Naked
people. Yeah,
More
we'll-
Yeah.
naked people.
yeah. Please
More
don't put that
naked
up to the
people.
camera again. We'll get banned.
I mean, here was a girl that just smelled her own butt. That was pretty good. I'm not watching TikTok anymore.
Oh.
Okay, so as a reminder, we have a Tuesday stream. These guys start at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so that's 11 p.m. my time. Way too late for me. Shoot, it's called that Silverline Show on Tuesday. Hang with those guys, and then Wednesday, the Whammers will be back on Wednesday at 8 p.m. That is Eastern time, and we of course will be back with you next Sunday as we talk about whatever we're going to talk about next week. So, anybody have any final words?
We'll start working on those Kickstarters pretty soon.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the final words?
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean that obviously if you Roberta's ready. Yes, you guys are working on the commissions, and the books will be printed soon, and we'll get
Haley's working on hers. We'll get on to Haley, make hers, because don't we have like a three? Pete's doing 2 of the same thing that I'm doing 2 of, and then Haley's doing 2. In there, of one guy ordered
the same character for all 3 of you. Yeah.
Competition to see who draws the coolest of these things. So I know it's going to be me. I wanted to be Pete, but it's going to be me.
I've done mine, so surely I'll get a prize for that.
Oh, man,
good.
good. I hadn't even started mine.
Yeah. Did you see Tommy's body language? Tommy's body language was like so defeated. Oh, you've done yours. Oh.
Yeah, I'm done now.
Let me look at it. Let me look at this one, Tommy.
Let's see what you drew. Let me see what you drew.
Cracking on.
Hey, maybe we'll have a show off next week. You guys,
Sure,
you guys
sure.
can show off some
You
of
can
the,
do
some
it.
of
I'm
the
doing it this
commissions.
week. I already got it planned, and I'm going to be working on mine this week.
I want to see.
Sounds cool. Yep, I do too. All right. Well, you guys know what happens next. We'll see you next time. But until then, remember to
Thanks,
Silverline. Get up there, Roberta. Yeah.
There we go.
Night, everybody.
Go into TikTok. Don't look at TikTok. There's bad stuff on TikTok. Don't go into TikTok.
Oh.